guys, good morning. I'm so excited about today. Today we're going to do a Q&A, which we haven't done in a really long time. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who submitted questions before today, because I have a page of 12 pages of questions or something like that. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to go in order. I'm going to kind of talk about quilting. I'm going to talk about personal stuff, and then I'm going to talk about true crime. And that's going to be just from the questions that came in. And then after that, I'm going to go to all the questions in chat. So some of your questions, if I've already answered them, we'll delete them because I'm answering them because it's too hard for me to toggle both. But super excited to answer your questions. And one of the questions we got was, what are we doing to affect those by the recent flooding in Texas? So Fat Quarter Shop is going to be making a financial donation to Red Cross. And we are going to also internally as a company take collections and stuff like that. So we are doing our part. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So sad. And it's just devastating. It's like almost, I can't even watch the news on it. Okay, I'm going to start with quilting questions. How did I start quilting and how did I learn? I've always been super crafty. When I was young, my granny taught me to crochet. My mom put me like in sewing classes. I think it was like Hancock Fabrics or Joann's. It was something like that, like in high school. So I had like a sewing machine in high school. But I didn't really get serious about it until I was out of college, which would have been like 1998. Okay, so this is a great question. What is your go-to products in the beginning and how has that changed over time? What have you learned from quilting? So I sat down and thought about what in the last 25, 30 years have I done different? So when I took my first class, I just bought generic rulers and they were not very accurate in terms of the lines. Like they were these really old, they were like, I don't even know how to describe it. They had like grooves and they were horrible. And now I use Creative Grids rulers. So that's one change. I've always used a rotary cutter, so that's the same. The only thing I would say is now I use an ergonomic one instead. Like I use this kind. I think it's easier for me to use than the one that's just a straight handle. When I first started, I still remember I had this brown seam ripper that I got from Walmart that was atrocious. It was so fat that it wouldn't take my seams out. So now I use the Clover White seam ripper. In the beginning, I didn't starch at all, and now I starch. I have always steamed, and I've always steamed so much that my blocks would shrink a lot, so that was never great. As far as thread, when I first started, I think I used Mettler or Gutermann. I do know, the only thing I know is it was 100% cotton. I do know that. Now I use Aurifil. My very first quilt I made, I used some quilt shop fabric and then fabric from like the chain stores. And I stopped doing that because one of the fabrics bled. And at the beginning, you know what I used to do? I used to pre-wash all my fabric. I did do that. And I would take the fabric and I would cut a little corner off of the piece and wash it. And I do remember some of the fabrics from the quilt shop, the non-quilt shop, they were bleeding, but I didn't even think, oh, don't put those in your quilt, they might bleed. That's how dingy I was. I used to just press to one side. Now I do both. I press open, press to one side. I use a fancy iron. When I first started, I'm sure I just had an iron from Walmart. I kind of progressed with irons. I have used Rowenta, I've used Aliso, now I use Laura Star. As far as machines, when I first started, I had a machine that was $200 from Walmart, and I had that for a while. And then I've had a couple of Berninas, a couple of Genomes. I think I had a Pfaff. That was like years and years ago. And then now I use the Juki 2010 TL 2010, but that's the one that I use like if I go to retreats. But now I just use an industrial machine that we can put a link in there to the one I use because I can't remember the number. I think it's like 9,000 something. But I love that machine because I can get so much done. So I think part of my quilting journey is just You know, you don't want to overinvest when you start. I guess that would be my biggest advice and just whatever you like, end up using. The next question, I have issues with not getting perfectly squared blocks. I notice you cut larger, trim to fit. How much larger do I cut? Okay, so we're going to show you some blocks right now. Okay, so, oh no, the pop-ups. Sorry.
The trim down?
Yeah, the trim down ones, sorry. I have a lot of pop-ups. So, okay, so this is an example of a block that I made, and you can see the flying geese and the center square are the correct size. The outside squares, I cut those 1/2 inch bigger, and then that way I can trim down. So the answer, the most generic answer is, depending on how much fabric I have, if I have a lot that I think I'll have left over, I'll cut 1/2 inch bigger. If not, I'll do a 1/4 inch bigger. And then I'm going to show you this next one. I cut the outside bigger, and then I also cut those rectangles bigger, and then I trimmed down. This next one, only the corners are bigger. And then this one, the corners are bigger. So this is just a couple of examples of me cutting bigger. So the general answer would be 1/2 inch, but you have to remember, if you're gonna do that, you have to have extra fabric. So you might not have enough in your kit, so you kind of have to consider that. So I always have to consider that and buy more. We've got a lot of questions about scant 1/4 inches and why some patterns ask for that and why some patterns do not. And what do? I just use a straight 1/4 inch seam at all times. I know Miss Rosie, her name was Carrie, she always did scant 1/4 inch. So I think it depends on what you're comfortable with, but a scant 1/4 inch means instead of doing a 1/4 inch, you take 1 stitch over, which gives you like a scant, it's just like a 1/8 of an inch smaller than a 1/4 inch maybe. And I think it gives you room so your blocks come out the correct size. I've never done it though, so I don't have a lot of experience with that. Can you do a demo on how to cut straight strips so you don't get bowing in the middle? Yes. So I have all this stuff is ready. This is all for you guys because I thought about the questions. So my tip for you on cutting strips would be, we'll have to zoom out, Jordan. That's good. First, I would have it ironed. You can tell this is not starched because you see the waviness. But my trick for this is, if you're gonna cut a straight strip so you don't get the bowing in the middle, I'm gonna show you 2 ways. The first one is make sure it's ironed. And this is the fold. If you make sure this is exactly lined up with the fold and you cut, it's gonna be perfect. So this is one way you cut this way, and then you rotate it slowly. Try not to move it, and then you would just cut the 3 inches here. That's how you would do that. Or if you don't want to move the fabric at all, I'll show you another way. Okay, another way would be, have your long ruler here, take another ruler and put the straight line on the fold. So you can see that straight line is on the fold. So that means going up, it's gonna be straight. Put this right here, move this, and cut. So those are my tips. Basically, the most important thing is getting your ruler 100% lined up at the bottom, and when you do that and you cut across, it should be accurate. Okay. The next question is, how do I stay on track when oh, you can leave the thing there, when I'm doing multiple projects. So, yeah, the top cam, sorry. So this is what I do. I do two things. This is just my sheet on quilting. This is not cross stitch. This is not this is my document that I use. It has every single project, every single block, and my due date. This means I need to get this done for work by this day and get it to Denise by this day. We write out how many blocks, how many I've done, because like say there's 27 blocks and I've only done 10. So these are all due dates. So I've done everything for July. Now, obviously I haven't got to August yet, but so this makes me go from project to project to project to make sure I stay on track. But when I'm at home, this kind of keeps me on track of what projects I need to do. And then this keeps me on track within the project. And these are the quilt pages from Lori Holt. And so we just pulled a random one, but I try to put as much detail as I can on that in terms of my backing, my binding. So if I need to refer to this, I keep this with the project I'm working on because I don't always remember what I've picked. So that's the main way that I keep on track. Okay, glue. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. I had it and I moved it. What did I do with it? I had glue and I got it out and I moved it. Hold on. I put it somewhere.
Seam line or
The seam align glue. Oh, I bet I put it over here. What did I do with it? I pulled it so I could show y'all what I do, and now I've lost it.
right here?
Oh, it's on the floor. Ha, sorry. Okay, so I use this glue all the time, and you can tell I've had this bottle for probably a year or two because the sticker's coming off and it's getting gross. But you just fill this back up. Like, I don't keep buying these. I just fill it back up. And somebody asked, how do I keep it from clogging? And there's this little, as long as you put this little thing back on when you're done, it's not going to clog. But if it does, all you have to do is put a pin in here. And then just like move it around and then the glue will come out. So I really don't have a problem with the clogging. And this is seam-align glue. And like I said, you buy a small one of these and then you buy the replacement to pour in. What are my best binding tips? Okay, we can do front camera now. Okay, so best binding tips. Okay, I haven't done binding in a long time, but I love to do binding. The reason I don't do it is because Teresa does it for me at work and she does the most perfect binding ever. But I would say for binding, I always do 2.5-inch strips. I always do double fold binding. And to get the double fold binding, there's this machine by Simplicity. It's called the Sidewinder Portable Bobbin Winder. And they had that for years. They discontinued it, but they brought it back. And what you do, and I don't have one here, you stick the stuff in and it turns your straight 2.5-inch strip into double fold binding. And that is really, I love that because it comes out perfect. And then I also, to join the ends, I use the binding tool. And then I also, when I get to my 1/4 inch at the edge, I make a mark with my friction pin so I know where to pivot. So those are my binding tips. Bias binding. Would you make a video on how to do bias binding from a 1/2 yard or a yard? Okay, so we found a video that we did 9 years ago called How to Bias Bind a Quilt. So I would check that out. I really don't do bias binding, so I don't know that much about it. What are my suggestions for when you just can't starch? Would you wash and dry the fabric and then iron before starting? Yes, I would. I know you work with a straight stitch machine. Would you ever consider a multi-machine so you could do fancy stitches? And what are your thoughts? Okay, so let me answer that. I don't think I would ever, I always say, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to change. I don't think I need fancy stitches at all. If I do, then I I have machines at work I could use, but I think for me, speed is more important. But I do have, and this kind of goes with the next part of the question, I do have a Baby Lock Sashiko machine that gives you this quilting long stitch look. Someone said, what are your thoughts on hand quilting with the long stitch? I think that's really cute. I haven't used that Sashiko machine in a long time, but it basically looks like hand quilting. And it was really popular about maybe 8 years ago or something. Okay, this question is for the top, Kim. Okay, I would love to see the back side of your work. Now, we just picked these randomly. Denise did. These are just random blocks that I have done. Do I prefer pressing to the side or open? I have trouble getting my seams to lay flat. I starch, but I don't have a clapper. Would that make a difference? Okay, so there's lots of points to that question. I like to press open because to me it's kind of soothing, or it just like, it gets all the wrinkles out in my life, right? Like it just makes it nice and perfect and tidy. I love clappers. This is what a clapper looks like. It's basically a wood piece. Some people have their husbands make them. There's a certain kind of wood you use. We sell lots of different brands of these. But when your fabric is hot, and when I mean hot, it's got to be hot. It can't be cold. It's got to be 100% hot, and you put the clapper on it, and it makes, and then you take it off once the heat is gone, and it's going to make it flatter. So I use a clapper all the time. I like to press open. I will tell you the downsides to it. Sometimes, okay, so if you're, see, okay, did you see how I just pulled those stitches apart? Your stitches are gonna come apart. You gotta have a really small stitch length, and that is with a 1.4 stitch length. So you just have to be careful that, you know, your stitches aren't falling apart. So that's your downside. I'll show you the back of some of my other pieces, but I think they're probably all gonna look the same. Like that's, let's see what this one is. Yeah, and these are just random. Like we didn't say, oh, go find ones with press open, press to one side. We just found these. Now, some long arm quilters do not like to work with seams that are pressed open. So that's kind of up to you. I've been starching for several years, but I get, oh, this is a good question. Okay, let me show you the starch I use. This is the starch I use. I'm not affiliated with this company in any way. It's Niagara Original Finish. I'm gonna do a starching demo in a little bit, but this person said, I get tired of having to wait for the fabric to dry before I can start a project. I was doing this and I thought, why can't I put these fabrics in the dryer to dry the starch? I think they turned out good. Have I ever tried this? I have not tried that. I would probably be scared to do that because I've noticed if you try to iron on heavily starched fabric, it turns brown. What I do when I'm in a hurry is I get a blow dryer and I blow dry the fabric. It does take two people though. Like if you're holding it and blow drying it, it kind of goes everywhere. So you kind of need somebody to like hold all the sides and then somebody else to blow dry it. So my quick tip is to blow dry. If the dryer works for you, I think that's great. I'd probably just be too scared to do that. And all the years, how many quilts have you made? Oh gosh, probably 1,800, a lot. Like I literally have like probably 100 in my house. Yeah, I don't know, a lot. It might be over 1,000. Okay, so that was kind of like, we kind of organized this by sections so that all the kind of questions that are similar went together. So that was kind of techniques. Now I'm going to go on to pattern and project questions. If I had no rush and I was going to make a quilt for me, totally personal, no deadlines, what quilt have I always wanted to make? I would like to make a quilt using tilted fabrics. I am just so I just don't even know where to start. But that's one thing I would like to do. I would also like to make the My So Quilty Life. I wrote it down. Cozy Cottage Quilt. That's kind of on my list. I am going to something in August to sew, and I might take that. I don't know. So those are 2 quilts that I would like to do. What patterns do I love, but it's intimidating, so you never have? I really like the double wedding ring quilt. I have made some blocks, but I feel like it's a non-exact, meaning it's never going to come out exactly how you want it. So I don't think I could make a whole quilt of it because it would drive me crazy. And also I really like applique, the look of it, but I do not like doing it. Now, have I? Yes. I think that it would be great if one day I could take a class. I did take one years ago with Robin Pandoff. That was, gosh, I think that was before I got married. Yeah, I think that was maybe before I got married. I think it'd be great to take a class of somebody just doing needle turn applique with small pieces, so I could learn how to do that. What fabric line do I wish they would reprint? So Cherry by Lori Holt. What is my favorite jelly roll pattern? Okay, so I grabbed some. You guys asked very specific questions, so for the jelly rolls, I think anything in the Simply Jelly Roll book is great because it just uses one jelly roll, one background. So I love the one on the cover, and I love this one right here, the spools. So that's what I would like. Now, just as a reminder, at Fat Quarter Shop, we have a ton of free patterns for jelly rolls. They're called shortcut quilts. So if you just go Google Fat Quarter Shop jelly roll YouTube, you're going to get a ton of free patterns. How do I pick a pattern when I have a Fat Quarter collection? So the first thing I would say to look at before if you just have like some fabric and you want to decide what to make with it, I would look at like the scale of it. Like if it's big cave prints, you need big cuts. Is it small prints? How many SKUs are there? Is there a lot of variety? You know, some collections only have 12 SKUs, some have 50. Look at the background that comes with it. Like, is there a really good background, or are you going to have to find one? And then I think another thing to think about is, who is this for? And how much work do I want to put into it, right? Like if it's like a quilt that I'm going to keep and I'm going to put on the wall, or I'm going to, like display, I'm going to want to be doing something that's going to be complicated. Am I in the mood to challenge myself where I make a million half square triangles? Or am I in the mood to make just a fun baby quilt because my friend's having a baby? So I think there's a lot to consider. And I think you have to consider, all of those things. And, how much time do you have? I would like a pattern that looks random of squares and rectangles. Okay. This is what we came up with. We meaning Denise. Hold on. So we looked through like all of the patterns we have, and we were trying to focus on free patterns. And this is the block. It's 2 rectangles and 2 squares. Simple, easy, free. Layer cake loop. Will there be more fat eighth patterns? I would say they have not been great sellers for us in terms of the ones we've offered from It's So Emma. So probably not right now, but I would say Camille Ross Kelly and Corey Yoder and Lori Holt have some great fat eighth patterns. Camille and Corey's would be just like single patterns, and Lori Holt's would be in her books. Are we going to have a 12-inch woven star pad? Yes. I don't have a date on that. We're currently working that out. 2 really wonderful customers sent us the idea on how to do it. And I was like, ding dong, duh, I could have thought of that. So yes, because a customer sent in the idea, yes, we're going to be able to do it. What are my favorite patterns that show off prints for fat quarter bundles? Okay. So I just grabbed this book and I thought, what are two that are on my list? Hearth and Home. I haven't shown you guys yet, but this is my new scrappy quilt, and I've made 4 blocks, and it doesn't, I don't want to say it so much shows off the fabric, but there's 20 prints on the outside and then 3 on the inside. So for me, I liked it because it was able to show off an entire collection. So this is one idea, Hearth and Home from the Prairie Home book. And then the wagon wheels. I really like this block. It's the real name of this block, I can't think of it, but it's in, it's just used a lot by a lot of designers, and it's like a little sunflower. So those are 2 I thought of. And then also, just as behind the scenes, this week on Tuesday, we did a photo shoot. And on that photo shoot, we did fat quarters by the dozen, which is 12 quilts that all use 12 fat quarters plus a background. And so anything from that book would be great. It's coming out in the fall. So those are the ones I thought of. Okay, are there plans to do upcoming block of the months that are similar to Coriander Christmas or Shine On that we did years ago? It's fun to get the book and know what fabric is coming each month. We don't have one on the docket now, but we love those too. With those are more designer. Most of the time, those are designers come to us and say, oh, we have this idea. Would you work with us on it? Because it usually ties to their fabric collection. So I think that kind of dictates it a little bit. Will there be another Halloween project like the Spooky and Sweet from last year? I've made them all. Yes. So I talked to Denise. She said the theme for 2026 is Halloween. This year we did fall, and the reason we did that is we base the design that Jocelyn comes up with is based on the fabric choices. So Jocelyn looks at every single fabric company and every single fabric presented to us that's within that category. She finds the one that we think that the customers would like the most, meaning the one that would sell the best for customers at Fat Quarter Shop, and then she comes up with a design from that. So this year we did fall because the fabric was more fall related this year. I would love an idea of quilt-alongs that we have planned for the next 12 months. I enjoy the many you do and have to choose only 1 or 2. Okay, so the first thing is we haven't planned all of 2026. In October, we will release a video showing the entire plans for it. We do have this planned with just socialites, and this is going to be a completely free sew-along that starts in February 2026. You can get this now at Fat Quarter Shop. It tells you how much fabric, if you're buying a pre-cut, you would need to start with. More information will be coming soon, but this one will be fun. And then Jordan has a picture of Quilted Farm Girl. So that's going to be a sew-along in 2026. And then we'll have the charity quilt for 2026, which has not been designed. And then, of course, we will also have more, whatever Lori comes up with. I always sew along with hers. I've noticed more and more designers are keeping their sew-alongs like more to their shops, which is totally fine. So I do less of those now because they're less available to me, I guess. I would like to make socialites with the 3-inch blocks. Will 1 layer cake be enough? I just threw this on the floor. Yes, it says it will. When does Christmas in July and cross stitch begin? Okay, so this is for this right here, Jordan. The fabric for the deer, it's this fabric right here, just came out. if you signed up for the Up on the Rooftop quilt along, the quilt kit and the backing sets shipped this week. So now the fabric requirements are out. You can download this sheet at Fat Quarter Shop for the fabric requirements. Release 1 pattern will come out Monday. Video for release 1 will come out Tuesday. And so this is your fabric requirements. I don't know how many kits we have left. I don't think it's very many. And I think that's also because we're starting late also. So, okay. The next question is, I would like ideas for storing patterns, quilting and cross stitch. I have a bazillion and they are shoved everywhere. Thank you for all you do. Okay, so Jordan's going to show you some pictures of my sewing room. Now, both of these shelves right here, Lori helped me buy, meaning we went shopping together and we found the one on the right from Home Goods and the one on the right from like a local furniture store. So for my books, all of those little white containers, those are from Michael's. They're metal. They're super expensive. Every time I look at them, I think about how expensive they were. But I have them divided. So like some of them are Lori books. Some of them are It's So Emma books. Some of them are crochet books. Some of them are cross stitch. They're all random. So he's just going to show you that. Now this is when it was neat. I think it is still this neat. And then I'm going to make a confession. For patterns, I really do not have a stash of patterns. I love books, so I always buy books. Like if it's crochet even, I have so many crochet books. I rarely buy a pattern unless I'm gonna make it right then. So I just don't buy patterns and store them for some reason. I don't know why. And if I've made a pattern and I'm done with it, I'm just done with it. I'm not gonna save it because I'm probably not gonna make it again. So I really don't have a lot of storage for patterns, but I would say some people, you could get a 3-wing binder and you could put the little sheets inside that are the little, what are those sheets, Jordan, you think that people can slide papers in? Sheet protectors, right? Yeah, like you could get a 3-wing binder, get sheet protectors, and then put them in there. Now, years ago, there was, and someone commented on this, there was a cute Camille pattern box, and it was made, the outside of it was made with Smitten, and that was the cutest notion ever. Maybe Moto will be listening, and they can make more of those. That was super cute, and it was just kind of like a recipe box. So if you could find a recipe box, or you know, you could just put them in some of those the book stands, or you could put them in a drawer. I'm completing the Dragon Fruit block of the month, and I had a question about how I cut the fabrics. And this is a store question, not a customer question. Does Fat Quarter Shop buy all the fabric and cut it all at one time, or do I cut it month by month and send it to you? So what we do is it's this really big process that takes everyone at Fat Quarter Shop. It's like a very big team thing. It is so much detail and so many people work on this. So shout out to like Lucy, Nova, kitting department, everybody who does this. It's a ton of work. So we take the pattern, and this is like kind of how I came up with it years ago. I might be telling too much. I'm a big spreadsheet person. So we take the pattern, we list every SKU, we look at the pattern exactly what you need. We take by SKU how many people we think are going to order. So if we're going to do 100 kits and each of those kits needs 1 yard, I need 100 yards. So I multiply that and then I add 10%. And then I divide that by 15 and I round up. So basically we buy everything we're going to need for the customer for the entire thing plus 10%. We get that in one big shipment and we put it like in one little area and we cut it month by month. And then what we do is we have a little sheet and it tells them, okay, what bolts to pull, and then we put it back so that we don't accidentally sell the fabric. So it goes like in a separate area. and we cut it month by month. Now, of course, if we were ever super caught up, we could cut the whole thing all at once, but that probably would never happen. That's something that we could do years ago, but probably not now. I want to make the Shine On sampler, and I love the original colors. Can you recommend a current fabric line with similar colors? Okay, so Jordan, can you pop up that photo on the ladder? That is the quilt she's talking about. It is, the book is called Shine On. It's by Camille Ross Kelly, published by It's So Emma. That was the original quilt that I made. And that is, we just took that picture a while ago. Cute, cute, cute quilt. We recolored it a couple years later in Lighthearted. I looked around and I couldn't find a group that I could think of right now that would match this. I think In the Garden would be pretty, but it would not be those colors. With this, you would need enough colors. So if you're looking at that quilt, you've got several aquas, you've got grays, pinks, you know, greens. You have to have enough colors, and you need to have enough shades within those colors. Let me see. Yeah. So I would say, looking at Camille's collections right now, summertime is a little bit bright, and then the collections after that are really blue and green heavy. So I can't think of one right now, but that's the quilt she was talking about. So if you guys can think of anything that you think would work for her, you can put it in the comments. Okay, so those were like pattern questions. Now I'm gonna move to fabric questions. Okay, someone wants to know about starching. So the first thing before I start this, I'm gonna show pictures of me starching. So this is actually Will's bathroom. So that is basically a fabric that I have starched. It is dripping wet, and I'm putting it on this little rack. That's just a random cheap $10 maybe rack from Amazon. And I just put it over those little things. So yeah, so now you can see in the background, see how the fabric is draping over those? So that's how I let it dry. Oh, is there not another one? Okay, so let me show you how I starch. So if somebody asked, how do you starch a charm pack? So that's what I'm gonna show. I got this years ago from Lisa Bonjean at Primitive Gatherings. So shout out to her for teaching me how to do this. This is a towel on top of my Laura Star iron so that I don't get it dirty. At the picture that I showed you at home, we'll show it to you again in a second. But I have it, it's a really cute ironing board from like Walmart with a cute Lori Holt cover, and then I put fabric on it, and then I starch, and it's just old fabric. So when I starch a fabric, I'm gonna completely cover it. Now, when you look at, oh, I can smell that starch, it smells so good. So the front should be completely dripped. I mean, it's like, it should be completely covered in fabric and starch. It's wet, it's gross. And then I would hang it over on one of those hooks. Jordan's gonna show you now. So see how that has little hooks? So obviously, if I'm doing a whole charm pack, that would fill the whole thing. But a charm pack is going to dry a lot faster than your yardage will. And you can see all of in the background, you can see all of the starch cans that I have there. And then some spring water that I use for my iron sometimes. Now, with a charm pack, jelly roll, any type of pre-cut, keep in mind it is going to shrink one direction. Usually 3/8 to 1/2 inch on one side. So if it's a charm pack pattern, you might, if you need the full 5 inches, you cannot starch the charm pack and make the pattern. So anytime you're working with any type of pre-cut, you have to keep that in mind. One thing that I do a lot, and yes, it is very wasteful, is I will use layer cakes, sometimes for charm pack patterns. But then I would use all that leftovers for the back, or I would do something else with the leftovers. I wouldn't just like throw them away or something. I would somehow try to incorporate those leftover fabrics in some other type of project or thing. Is it okay to pre-wash the backing, or do I need to starch it also? What I do is I starch the backing. If you pre-wash, it will do the same exact thing. It will shrink at the same ratio as starch, but it wouldn't be as crisp. So that's a total personal preference. This next question is really good. It says, so many fabrics with dots, stripes, and linear designs are not printed on grain. Do I cut with the grain or off the grain? So I will cut at the very beginning of the show when I showed you how to cut with the bottom to get a straight border. I will cut next to the design where it is lined up. I'll get a turn back and show you. So this is directional. When I'm cutting this, I would make sure that I lined up with these hearts right here. With something like this, I would make sure I'm either lined up here, or you can do it perpendicularly this way. I would 100% line it up, as long as it is not something, if it's a border and you have to flip it open, that will not work. But if it's piece by piece, I am going to line it up. Like on this, I'm gonna line it up. Now, there are some quilts that maybe are just like more casual quilts, or maybe I don't care that much about them, or they're not gonna be heirloom quilts. I'm not gonna line those up. But most of the time, if it's like one of my complicated quilts, I am gonna line it up. I am looking for a fat quarter bundle that uses muted greens, grays, blue, low volume, no animal characters. Do I have anything? Okay, so for you, I could not find anything. I looked. So in the comments, I want you guys to look on Fat Quarter Shop's site and see if you can find her a fat quarter bundle that uses muted greens, grays, blues, no animal characters, because I couldn't find one. What line of Moda fabric would I recommend for Lori Holt patterns? I would say for Lori Holt patterns, you have to have a lot of prints. So a lot of times her collections usually have 40 to 50 prints. So you have to find something, it doesn't matter which, but you need a designer that has a lot of prints, a lot of color, a lot of scale, and just a lot of movement. So I would say, Camille, Corey, Vanessa Gertzen, something like that. Nothing is going to look just like Lori's fabric because she has a very unique look. And so I don't think you're going to get the same look if you use someone else's exactly. Okay, this next question is kind of controversial. Why do fabrics feel different even within the same manufacturer? Okay, so I want to say this right. Okay, so let's say manufacturer company A. They might print fabrics in different countries. Those are different machines. And all of the companies, what they do is they buy something, it's called gray goods. It's actually spelled Greige. They're called gray goods. They buy those in bulk. And what if the gray goods one day come, they might be different in a year. Those are made from cotton. So it could be that the gray goods are different. It could be that they're different countries. I'm just looking to make sure I get everything. Manufacturers usually use different mills. And so it's going to be the mill, the gray good, the country. 108-inch fabric is always going to be different quality than 44-inch within any manufacturer. That is a totally different machine and a totally different type of, it's still 100% cotton, but it's always going to be different. So hopefully I covered everything. Do I know if Lori has a new Christmas fabrics? Okay, so Lori's in the chat today. She just came out with the Christmas collection, so I don't think she's going to have another one in the works for a while. I would give her lots of years. The thing went off. Oh, did you fix it? Okay. Okay, this is a question. We got this question 50 times. Not really, but almost. I guarantee in the chat right now there's a million questions. Everyone is asking about the new Tilda Christmas line. Yes, we're going to buy it. What they do is they show everybody, the whole world, and then they tell the quilt shops, you can't show this until July 15th. So we ordered it a long time ago, but we cannot put on our website until July 15th. So we will put that online July 15th, and it is cute, and I want to make all the things. I noticed a new fabric line on your website called Echo Cotton. What is it? So it is 50 SKUs. I'm going to show you. I can actually show you now. It's in the What's New section, but since you asked now, I'll just show you now. Those, yeah. It's a 100% cotton fabric. There are 50 SKUs, and these are all made from, the manufacturer is Island Boutiques. So these are the bundles we did with it. Alicia's just going to read the names of them. How about that?
Okay. The first one.
Yeah.
Natural Eco Cotton Fat Quarter Bundle.
Okay.
And then we have Posy Eco Cotton Fat Quarter Bundle. And then Garden Eco Cotton Fat Quarter Bundle. And then Ocean Eco Cotton Fat Quarter Bundle.
So it is, it's really pretty colors. I would say it is stiffer than Art Gallery, Riley Blake, or Moda. So it's stiffer than Moda. Some people prefer their solids to be super thick. I haven't used it. This actually just came in. So that is the new division. So basically, Island Boutiques has been around a long time, and they are now branching out into making 100% cotton goods. I haven't used it yet. Oh, okay, this one I need that bundle. Please explain to everyone that the paper with the numbers at the bottom of the bundles are the reorder numbers, and the numbers are in the same order of the fabric pieces. Okay, so somebody wanted me to explain this to you, so, oh yeah, oh thanks. Okay, so now I have to preface this to say not every company does this, but Moda does. So if you keep this is in order of, so if you wanted to buy this SKU, it would be this one. Now this comes with fat quarter bundles, with Moda. I don't know if every company does it. I just, like off the top of my head, I know that Moda does. So somebody wanted me to show you that. Have I noticed a difference in the quality of cotton in the past year or so? A few companies seem to fray so bad. I think some of them have lowered their standards since I started quilting 10 years ago. I haven't noticed a change like in the last couple of years, but I would say over the last like 10 years ago, yes, I have noticed a change. Fraying is not really noticeable for me because I starch so heavily. But yes, I would agree that the quality is not as good as it once was. I don't know if it could be the gray goods, it could be cost. I don't know. Oh yeah, good. This is great. Okay. Somebody asked for a crisp white background. She doesn't want cream. She doesn't want yellow. She wants a white on white. So this is 20708-36. I use this on so many quilts. And this one, just so everybody knows, I'm not sure Moda's going to reprint it for us again. So once this is gone, it might be gone forever. Now, we do have a lot of it still, but this is my favorite white on white. Sorry. Okay, now we're going to move to sewing machine questions. I want to know more about your new Juki machine that's industrial. Why did I choose industrial? How do I like it? What do I like better? And does it have quilting feet? Okay, so I'm going to blame all of it on Doug Lico. I went to a retreat with Doug Lico 2 summers ago. And he was like, oh, my friend, she has this Juki. It's amazing. I think I'm going to buy one. And I was like, oh, okay. So he had like me and Lisa Alexander like researching them. He's like, it's like the best thing ever. And then I was like, you have to buy one first. Like, we're not going to buy one first. You have to buy one first. So he bought one. And then he started sending me videos. Like, he was texting me videos of like how fast it was and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to try it out. So he told me about it. So I'm going to blame him. But I got it because I have so much sewing to do and I want to go fast. And the machine that I have, I still use it, but I'm only going to use it at retreats. It's really like the motor is like almost dead. And I paid someone to come fix it and it really never fixed. And I paid more for him to fix it than I could have probably just got a new machine. So I think I just did it because Doug tempted me, but also it goes so fast and it's quieter and it doesn't shake. So, you know, when you're using a machine that, when I say I go fast, all the way. The Juki regular goes 1,000 stitches a minute. My industrial is 4,000 stitches a minute. And I go that fast. So I can get more done to show you more on live stream. And it's doesn't shake. It's quieter so I can listen to true crime. And I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know, like you always need a new toy. Like if you're a golfer, like you need new toys, like you need new clubs. Like if you, I don't know, basketball player, you need new basketballs. It's kind of like that, I think. But Doug Lico told me about them and I was obsessed. So then I went down the YouTube rabbit hole of, looking at all the videos, and a lot of the videos were from people who make apparel in China. So they're all like in Chinese. I had no idea, but I just went down the rabbit hole. And then I found Juki Junkies. They have videos, and then David had done videos, and so I was like, okay, and then that's where I kind of did. That's how I went down. Now, does it have other feet? Yes, I use the same feet as my other machine, but I just use the 1/4 inch and the open toe foot. So I don't know if it has other fancy feet.
Can you tell the 2 quilts?
Oh, the 2 quilts. Morning Mist, Jolly Bar pattern, only available in the Jolly Bar. That is Blueprint, I believe. Nantucket Summer, coming out this month. This is Designer Mystery 2022. So we literally pulled that off of the hallway. And so pretty. It's an old Camille collection. Okay. I know you have an industrial machine now, but when you had your other one, I noticed you had an acrylic insert. I think I want the insert, but how difficult is it for you to change your bobbin? Okay, so when you have a machine, you can have the machine and then you can have an insert that's here and it's on top of the table, or you can have an insert that fits within your sewing machine table. Either one. I bought both of mine from Sew Steady. It's an online site. That's where I got mine. I didn't think it was difficult to change the bobbin. In fact, I think with the new industrial machine, I would say that bobbin is way in there. Like you kind of have to dig to get the bobbin in. But since it's industrial, one of the best things I like about the machine is you only need 2 bobbins. because you can sew and wind a bobbin at the same time. So as soon as you're done with the bobbin, you take that bobbin out, you put it on, you sew, and it winds the bobbin. So you don't need more than one, and it saves time. This question is for Lori. She's in the chat, so she can answer, but I did ask her last night. She said, will Lori Holt make the cute cut rectangle cutting rulers in aqua? She said she was gonna come in chat and answer. I would love to know the best way to clean and care for a cutting mat. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple tips. So at home, I gotta think of the brand, we sell it. What is, Alicia, what is that brand of white, those huge mats? They're huge, mega mats. So at Fat Quarter Shop, we cut everything on mega mats because they're super thick. At home, I have a mega mat on the very, very bottom, and then I put another mat on top. At home, I use the Lori Holt Cute Cut mats. Here, I use a Creative Grids because the Creative Grid shows better on camera. I have to change the top ones, which is this, probably once every year and a half or year. Now to clean it, this is gonna sound so bad. That's what I do. Because this is gonna get into any of the grooves and clean it out. I don't ever put, I mean, I guess you could like Clorox wipes. That's what I use to clean like my side table, but I've never used anything else besides this to clean my mats. Now, in chat, there might be people who have comments that are better. I know there's like sponges we sell that you could use to clean it. And I'll replace the mat once it's all, you know, torn up. But I use a lot of those Kimberly cutting mats, like these also. And so by using these and cutting on these, I don't have to replace these mats as much, if that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to Fat Quarter Shop specific questions. Why did I decide to start my own business? I've told this story a million times. I graduated college in 1997. Gosh, I'm getting old. Yeah, I graduated college in 1997. I took my first quilting class in 1998. I'm a CPA. I did that for like 4 or 5 years. The company I was working for, it was when the internet was about to, like the internet bust was about to happen. And I was working in venture capital. And Lori says, yes, I'm here. And yes, my rectangle trim it rulers are coming. My first one is coming this month. Well, there you go. Okay, so I knew I wasn't gonna have a job soon because the venture capital, funding new companies. Anyway, I just started on the side. I did it for fun. Kevin, we had just gotten married. We got married in February of 2003. I started it in May of 2003. I was like, oh, I'll be a stay-at-home mom. But really, I started it because when I would go to my local quilt shop, I would look for fat quarter towers because when I first started, I could not figure out how to match colors. And I really liked buying by the collection. And this was back when Moda was the only company that was doing fat quarter bundles, and I would go into a store looking for Moda fat quarter bundles. So I thought, well, nobody online is selling these, and this is what I'm looking for. So I kind of just thought about what I, as a consumer, would want to buy, and that's how I started it. Is there a warehouse where all of the kits are cut? Yes, so we have a facility. It's got offices. It's got, you know, the warehouse. We got a lot of questions on can we see it? No, we don't show any of it. A lot of it is really unique. And we wouldn't want somebody to just come in and be like, oh my God, it took us 23 years to get where we are right now. And I'm not going to give up all of that. But we do, everything we do here is done by a person. We do not have robots. We have people we have a huge kitting department. There are people who are kitting leads. There are people who roll the fabric out. There are people who cut. There are people who fold. It is a huge team of a lot of people behind the scenes who are putting together your kits. And people ask for photos, and no. Does It's Sewing publish individual patterns for designers or just books? We just I think the answer to that is yes. What does a SKU mean? So it's like a number identifier that goes with a product. So let me see. So like when you bought this product, this is just a random product I pulled from the table. Clover, who made this, they have to have a SKU number, they have to have a barcode for this to go into stores like Walmart, Joann's, that kind of thing. So every product in our store has a SKU number, and that is set by the manufacturer. And so that is so we can barcode, well, we can scan the barcode, and then when we ship the order, we know we're shipping the right item. What is the vision for Fat Quarter Shop for 2026? I would say just we really want to stay original. We want to keep unique designs. We want to keep bringing you free patterns. We want to stay true to having the best customer service in the industry, and bringing creative ideas to YouTube patterns, just being creative and standing on our own. I think I've answered that one. I want to open my own quilt and needlework shop. Any tips or advice? I would say you have to find what audience you want to cater to. If you're doing it locally, what does that market look like? Are you in an area where people are going to be looking for 1930s? Are you in an area they're going to be looking for Lori Holt? What are your customers going to be looking for, and start there? And you have to find something that's going to differentiate you from somebody else. For us as a company, it's customer service. The customer comes first. Every employee who works here knows that. That is part of our training. And it's just an integral part of our business. You have to find what you think you can sell and what's going to stand you apart from the competitors. How many kits do we cut every time we cut a kit? It really depends. Some are super low, some are super high. I would never give that number out. But we do, when we put stuff on the coming soon page, we have a system in the background that Kevin built that tells us how many people want to get emailed when that kit comes in. And that is how we base what we order and how many we cut. So it is basically all based on what you guys as a customer are wanting to purchase. Okay, I have some cross-stitch questions. Will I be designing another cross-stitch alphabet with lowercase letters? It's not on our list right now. Is all of the stitching with the Housewives quilting fabric discontinued? Yes, Henry Glass said when it's sold out, they're not going to reprint. I know there's been a ton of complaints, a ton of comments online. I have no control over it, so there's really nothing I can do. What are the possibilities of getting Moda or Riley Blake to manufacture collections that are discontinued? So I can't speak for a manufacturer, but I can say that Moda did reprint Strawberry Lemonade. That was based on demand. I don't know if it was based on sales, phone calls. I'm not sure. Most of Lori's prints from the last 5 years are still in print at Riley Blake. So what I can tell you is, if it's going to sell, they're going to reprint it. But most things don't sell as well as, say, Lori Holt, Tula Pink. If it's going to keep selling, they're going to keep making it. But the industry in general, 95% of the industry is what I would call one and done. Collection, move to the next one, next one, next one. There has to be sales to keep all of that. You have to think about, like, just envision what a manufacturer's warehouse looks like. Bolts take up a lot of room. They're big, they're bulky. So they have to have the finances to print it, the finances to hold it. So there's like a lot behind that. It's a lot easier to say, oh, just reprint this, than it is to actually sell it. Do I cross stitch in hand or use a hoop? I use my hands. I just fold it in my hands. For lights, when I'm stitching, I use two things. I use Halo Go. I have about 5 of them. Shout out to Peyton, who's downstairs. Thank you. He found a charger for me last night that I could use because I needed it and I couldn't find one. And then at work and at home, I use the Omega magnifier from the Daylight Company. The Omega 7 magnifier is similar to what I have. I will tell you it's super expensive, so I'm not trying to tell you to buy this. It's just what I use. What is my favorite cross stitch I've stitched? So Jordan's going to show you. This is Christmas Alphabet by Prairie Schooler. And this was something that Lori and I did together. She picked all the DMC colors and we did a thread pack. We still have the pattern. We still have the thread pack. And she stitched hers on like a tan fabric and I stitched mine on black. And I just loved it because it was just something Lori and I did together. I feel like this next question is not really fair, but who is my favorite cross-stitch designer? Well, it would be Lori. It would be Stitching with the Housewives, and I've always liked Country Cottage Needleworks. But I hope I don't offend any designers. I love everybody. Will Lori Holt publish Farm Sweet Farm or Be Happy into cross-stitch pattern? I love having quilting I've made with my cross stitch with it above the bed. Yes, there are a ton of things on her list. I can tell you, sneak peek, next year's cross stitch series, out of this world. You're gonna die. If you are not a cross stitcher, when you see this, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I gotta learn how to cross stitch. It is so good. I can't wait to get my hands on it and stitch it. So I can tell you that what's coming, you guys are gonna love. It's something that y'all have requested, but y'all probably have forgot you requested it. And it's gonna be a series of 6 different designs. Okay, miscellaneous questions. I also feel like this is an unfair question, but who's my favorite quilt designer? Lori Holt, Camille Ross Kelly, Fig Tree, Corey Yoder. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to, you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but that's what I sew with the most. And I love Shelley Kavanagh's books as far as designs. I do love her quilt designs. Okay, this is a question I'm going to let Lori answer. And you know, this is so funny because half of these questions are related to Lori. I like Lori's quilt patterns, like Scarecrow and Snowman, but they're too big. Do you think she would ever consider doing 2 sizes in her patterns? So I'm going to let her answer that. Now, if she did 2 sizes, there's no way we would be able to fit it in a booklet because the booklets are already like reaching the capacity. But if she did 2 sizes, that would be 2 separate patterns and she would have to decide that on her own. I have no idea what her answer is. It's probably no, but I don't know. This is a good question that I think this is a good idea for Riley Blake. So I'm going to let Lori email Riley Blake this. With the large vintage trim, would I ever consider making a variety pack of all the colors so we can see the colors in person? So Lori does all of her notions with Riley Blake. That's a great idea. So I'm going to let Lori decide if she wants to do that, and she can do that with Riley Blake and we can sell it. That's totally up to her, but I think that's a great idea. What is my favorite? Do I like to quilt or cross stitch? Which is my favorite? I think it really stressed out. That's what I like to do because I feel like it really gets my stress level down. So, I mean, I guess I love them for different reasons. I love fat quarter shop kits. I love the amount of fabric we get. How can we tell that if we're buying a kit, they are cut by fat quarter shop or by a fabric company? So on each quilt kit, when you're purchasing at Fat Quarter Shop, click into the kit, scroll to the bottom, and there's a note for the ones we cut here. And the note says, this kit is cut by FQS with generous fabric cuts, ideal if you like to starch. But keep in mind that some pieces like pre-cuts may not allow for shrinkage. So that is how you know we cut it in-house. But it does not mean that you can 100% starch your pre-cut. Will the Halloween box be spooky or fall in 2026? It will be Halloween. Because of you, I am now addicted to foundation paper piecing. I just finished dragon fruit. Am I adding more foundation paper options? I would love a diamond and a rectangle to do storm at sea. Okay, so I can tell you that right over there in the corner is this really cool new Triangles on a Row product that's coming. I can tell you that there's a really cool foundation paper that Lori's working on in 2 sizes. I can tell you that, yeah, we have a lot in the works. Now, we don't have Storm in the Sea on the list right now, but we do have a lot coming. This is a question for Lori. Can you recommend Arthur colors for the Jane Austen quilt? I want to order the colors I need for applique. So Lori designed that quilt. We did sell out of that kit. We sold, a thank you to everyone who bought that kit. We sold so many kits. We did buy more. We're hoping to make more in a few months. But I'm going to let Lori, I bet she might talk about it on her YouTube channel because she designed that quilt. And the So Simple Shapes also sold out, but we ordered more. Did they tell you when they would come?
I saw a packing list, so hopefully next week.
Okay, so hopefully next week we will get more of the So Simple Shapes. We do have the pattern in stock, right?
I need to check. I'll check on that.
Okay, I think if we don't, she'll order it. How do I design the perfect quilting room? So I think for a quilting room, there's a lot of things to consider. The first thing I would say, what's your footprint? So your footprint's going to determine how much you can fill up in that room. Because for me, the more the better, right? So I think it determines the footprint. And then what I've done before is taken graph paper and just, graphed out the number of inches, and then taken like my pieces of furniture and then taken the graph paper and then just place it. And then, because I don't know how to do Adobe and all that, like all that fancy stuff. So I would just do it on graph paper and kind of move it around. And then so like here at work, we have a setup for when we're quilting and we're doing a video. It's totally different. Everything is kind of like this way. At home, I have everything in a circle so that I can cut, iron, sew, cut, iron, sew. When I do my reels at work, that's also a really small space. So I have it all really tight. The smaller I can get my space, the quicker I can go in that circle. So I would say those are some things to consider. And then, do you want your table to be low? Do you want your table to be high? All the things. But I think the main thing is, what are you going to be most efficient at? You want it to be pretty. You want it to be cute, and I think it's fun to do. I want to, when my kids move out, I want to move my sewing room to the game room. So it'll be really big. So that's on my list. I got 3 years. No, I don't. I have 6. How do I fold my quilts for storage? And how often do I refold them? At home, I fold them inside out and I put them on a shelf. I have this one closet and it's just got quilts everywhere. At work, they're all on quilt racks. You're supposed to refold them. I don't do that. But the ones at home, I put out for the season. So I have them like July 4th. This is another question that I'll just answer now, but I really like Christmas quilts. I really like Valentine's Day quilts. I really like July 4th quilts. So I decorate by season. I have them in my closet by a season, so I'll put them out. So that's how I refold them. Now, if there's one that I don't ever put out, it's probably just gonna sit there for like 10 years and never get touched. Now, the ones my kids use, they actually use those, so they're not really even folded. This next question, please show us how you do piece backs. So this is what I do. So basically, Denise just pulled one out of the book. And so this is my table runner center size. This must be what I did to make the quilt. And then this must be what I did to make the backing. But I write out what size I need it to be, and I literally just sketch it. So to do a piece backing, it's literally just writing it out and deciding what I need to cut, and it's all done by hand, and that's just how I do it. I guess that's the only way. As I just thought I could show you, but there's not like a math formula, I guess. Is there anything that has gone out of style that you would like to see popular again? You know, I love florals. I think it was really cool when Jennifer, I think Ashworth, she had shabby chic fabric. I loved shabby chic fabric. I always love fabric that has a lot of white, that has florals. I don't feel like there's one style that's gone that I miss. But it was a really hard question, and I couldn't really think of anything. I couldn't think of anything, so I don't have an answer. Do I ever get in the middle of the project and realize you don't like it, you don't like the fabric or the pattern? What do I do? Continue, finish, put aside? How do I decide if it's worth my time or get on with another project? So earlier in the show, I showed you my schedule of like what I sew. So I usually make a quilt like a little bit each month. And so I don't really get bored with it because of that. But if I get bored with it, I could just bring it to work and like somebody else could finish it. But I usually try to finish. I love the quilt ladders behind me. Okay, they want to know what these ladders are. We bought these at a local store years ago. No idea. But Jordan's going to show you the new ones that we've been using in our offices. And they're just from Amazon, very inexpensive. They come like different widths and different colors, and we put a link in there if you want. They're kind of rustic compared to the ones we have on the set, but the ones on the set, I have no idea. Is there a place to get all the recolored blocks for the Flower Farm sampler, which is right here? You have to wait for them to be released monthly. They're released on our blog, but there is also that main printout that is on there, and if you look close, you can find the colors, but we're releasing this monthly. Will there be more guests to come and do tutorials? Everything we do is customer based. If you have, I really want to learn this, I really want this designer to come, you need to put it in the comments. Or I really want to know how to do this. If I don't know how to do it, I will bring somebody in that can show us how to do it. And so all of that is feedback that we would love to hear from you, in the comments. I wouldn't put them in the live chat because I can't see everything in the live chat right now, but after the video is over, give specifics. I want Doug Lico to come and I want him to show XYZ. Everything we do is based on customers' requests. I mean, obviously if you put it in there, I'm not guaranteeing we could do it, but it gives me feedback on what we can be doing to provide a better customer service experience for you. We got more Bloom thread sets yesterday. Somebody asked about that. How do I style a quilt on a bed? The quilts on beds at my house are on my kids' beds. 3 of them use the quilts. Go back up. There's more to that. Okay. 3 of them use it. I have 4 children. That means the boys use my quilts. Those are used all the time. And then they have some in the game room, and they have some that they put it like a cape and they wear it around the house. So those are used. In my bedroom, I don't use one because, Piggy has his own little quilt that he sits on, and Colleen Holt made that for him. And there is that. But I don't put a quilt on my bed because Piggy will ruin it. But if you were going to style a bed, you could look at our It's Sewama books for styling photos, but also it's really nice at the end of your bed if you just folded up a quilt rectangular and put it like as a bed runner. Let's see. Okay, that's that. Okay, now we have some personal questions. I'll probably just be fast on these. What's my comfort food? My favorite meal is Chewy's Deluxe Chicken Enchiladas, and I have not convinced my children to go there, so maybe they're going to owe that to me this weekend because that's my favorite meal. How did me and Lori become best friends? I just really liked her work, and I'm never afraid to try to talk to somebody to be like, oh my God, I love your stuff. That's how we became friends. I named my dog Piggy because next door, 2 houses over, there was a dog, and his name was Pig. Pig, not Piggy, but Pig. And my kids loved that dog. And so when we got a dog, we named it after that dog. Does he have a longer pedigree name? No. His name is Piggy, pain in the butt, peas everywhere. That's his pedigree name. How is he doing? He's doing good. He does go to daycare like 3 times a week. He has a new friend. It's one of those golden doodles. Yeah. He's 8 now. Years after your eye surgery, are you happy with the results? Has my eyesight stayed? Yes. Okay, so I'm very happy I did that. One of my very best friends from high school also did it and thinks it was great. Basically, I had the cataract surgery, lens replacement is what I had. Everyone in my family on my dad's side, and then my mom, but not her entire side. But anyway, a lot of people in my family have very bad eye issues, and even like both my grandmothers had to have cataract surgery. So I just thought, I'll just do it, pay for it, get it done before I get older. Do I need downtime? You look so busy. Yes, I take some naps. I take naps. I'm a napper. But I'm also I do need downtime. I need a downtime week. Tell Kevin to send me the 4 seasons so I can just turn my phone off for a week. That would be great. My granddaughter loves Taylor Swift. When did you start enjoying her music? Do I have a favorite song or album? No, I wasn't sure where that question came from. I think that comes because Kevin said she's really talented. I really don't even know her music that well. I mainly listen to I listen to 80s rap, 90s rap. I listen to old school country, Chris Stapleton. I listen to what's his name? I don't know. I listen to a lot of country music. I love oh God, what's his name? Who's the guy I went and saw in concert last summer, Jordan? See, that's how much I love music. I have no idea. I'll try to think of it. I don't know. So I'm not really a music person. Kevin made me go to a concert recently and I was like, okay. I mean, I went, but I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not really that much into music. Okay, so I'm going to show some pictures. People got questions about my kids, and so I'm going to show some pictures. I got this picture from Kevin and Emma yesterday. They took a little trip. I think it's a great picture. I need to get it framed. I need to get it printed and framed. So that's a recent picture of Emma. She's doing great. She is going to be moving to TCU in 25 days. Don't ask me why I'm counting. I've been packing. She's been packing. I'm not ready for her to go to college. She's going to be going to TCU, majoring in business. So that is what Emma's up to. This was the night of her graduation. So on the left is Peyton. Peyton is doing a lot of charity work. He is doing football training for the summer. That's Kevin. He's running Fat Quarter Shop. That's Emma. We talked about her. That's me. And then Will's next. Will has been doing a lot of charity work. He has been doing driver's ed that he has not finished. He went to Japan for school. He loved it. And then he said he wants to live there. And he said, I asked him why he loved it, and he said everything was inexpensive and cheap and clean. So I was like, okay, well, that's our requirement, I guess. And then he has been practicing for band. The next is Christopher. He has been going crazy playing basketball tournaments, training. He's like a basketball crazy person. And then he has started training for football because I guess that's about to start. So that's kind of an update on my kids. That's Emma and I. That's my mom. That's my brother. That is 2 nights ago. I took them to have dumplings. And Peyton's on the right. He didn't want to take a picture, and that's Christopher on the left. And then the next one is me and, oh, did I not send you me and Will? I must not have.
For this.
Oh, it's after this. That's Piggy yesterday. And that's me and Will. Yeah, so I just took those pictures for you guys. Okay. So, okay. Let's go down and see what else. Okay. I'm good on that. Okay, I'm going to do true crime very last. Let's do the customer questions because I don't want to make people too mad. Okay. Do I attend retreats?
You want to start at the very...
You can go to the bottom.
Okay.
Is there a way to arrange images of fabrics into a pattern to see how it looks before I purchase the fabric and cut it? I use a software called Electric Quilts. I think I'm on version 8. We do sell it. That's what I use. Is the navy blue quilting journal still available? No, but there's going to be something else coming. I can't tell you more about it yet. What tip do I use in the Simplicity bias tape maker? There's one for 2.5 inches. I have had that product for like 15 years, so I haven't bought anything recently on it. Hold on. Would you use 108 wide fabric in your quilt top if you needed it in your quilt block? Yes, I would. How often do I rip out and redo? A lot. No. Okay, let me think. It's not that often, but I will tell you, like, look at this, Jordan. Like right here, see how that doesn't match up? Like that's about as far as I'll let it go. But like I love my points to be like this. So it kind of depends, but a lot of times because my stitch length is so small, I will just redo the piece completely instead of ripping it out. What rulers would I recommend to cut small pieces like Cozy Cottage? I use Creative Grids, and there's like, I use the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, all the squares. And then I use the 6.5 by 24.5, 6.5 by 18.5. I use all the rulers. How can you determine whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced? I think it's like different pieces. So like, can you do a half square triangle? Can you do a square and a square? Can you do flying geese? And then from there, like bias. I think, you know, once you start working with bias, that's really like, that gets you to the intermediate level. And then advanced would just, yeah, I think you just grow over time. Will I do another block of the month like dragon fruit? Probably, but it'll probably be 3 or 4 years. I press my seams open, but have trouble pressing flying geese and square and a square open. Any suggestions? Okay, flying geese, if you do the Eleanor Burns method, it's easy to press open. Square and a square, if you're using paper, I pull the paper off the 2 triangles, press open, and then add and then trim down with a square ruler. So there's ways to do it, it just might be a little finicky. With a jelly roll, are the sheared edges part of the 2.5? Yes. If you get a 2.5 inch strip pack, do you need to measure and trim? That's personal preference. I would. What is my favorite fat quarter pattern to show off the prints? I answered that earlier. I think my new one is Hearth and Home by Prairie Home. Thank you to the super chat from Anna Banana. What are the colored dots on the salvage? That is how many times the machine goes through the colors. So if it has 20, that means it's got the color every time it goes through. So it's the number of colors used. Sometimes I starch and it's stiff, and sometimes I starch and it's wet but soft. Do you know why? Sometimes I do think when I get different cans that I get different results. So it could be that. Do I kit the sew sampler boxes in-house? Yes. Do I starch backing? Yes. Do I attend retreats? I am not going to host any right now. That's just a ton of work. I am going to retreat with some friends in August. Piggy is good. Is that all the questions? Okay, so let's do true crime real quick. I'm going to do it quick, and then we're going to show what's new. True crime. What are my thoughts on the Kohlberger plea deal? Personally, I don't think it's right to not make him allocute, like the motive, where he threw the knife, etc. I would say there's kind of two thoughts on this. When it first came out, what I immediately thought, now this is personal, this is just my personal opinion. All of this is personal opinion. I think that it's Idaho, and I think that it's not New York, it's not Texas, it's not California. They don't have a ton of money. I think they just were like Chad Daybell, Lori Daybell, and I think they were just done. And I think from the very beginning, they're just done, and they just want it over with, and I think they're probably out of money. Do I think it's fair? I think some family members like it, some family members don't. I think no matter what, it's never going to bring those 4 beautiful children back. Never. Nothing is ever going to make it right. There is no such thing as closure. It doesn't happen. I just think, so my opinion on it really doesn't matter. I think no matter what, the solution is bad because he made a bad decision. My opinion on Diddy is I think he's a diddler. I think he's a dirty old man. I think that as far as I don't agree on how they charged him, I think they charged him wrong. Karen Reed, I have zero opinion. I did not watch that trial. Donna Adelson, I'm kind of tired of hearing about her. Who's my favorite narrator? Keith Morrison, Nancy Grace. Okay, I think that's about it. Oh, wait, go down. There's one more I had answers to. Okay, where do I watch true crime? Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, HBO, Peacock, Oxygen, Discover, A&E, Sundance. I have a subscription to all of that stuff. It kills my bank account, but I listen to all of it. What do I think of the mushroom murderer, Erin Patterson from Australia? I mean, she's crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what's new, and then if y'all have questions, I'll answer them as we go. I'll move this stuff. And hopefully I've answered all of your questions. In no way did we mean to leave any of the questions out. So we have some new quilt kits. This one is packaged at Fat Quarter Shop. So if you ever get something with a sticker like this, that means it was cut here. So we have the Snowdrop quilt kit in stock, and that is an It's So Emma pattern. It uses charm packs. Then we have the Starlings fabric quilt kit, which is the same fabric collection. It's the Very Sweet Christmas by Bunny Hill Designs. It's the Jolly Bar pattern. And then we have the Everything Nice kit, same collection. It's also a Jolly Bar pattern. Yeah, they're both Jolly Bar patterns. And then, so those are packaged in-house. We also have the Christmas Garden Table Runner. Oh, we didn't print it out. It's it's a really cute table runner. We did a video on it, and it uses this fun Creative Grids 4-in-1 hexie ruler. Super cute. Definitely with something like this, anytime you're using, I would say as a tip, anytime you're using like a new specialty ruler, I would start with something small like a table runner so you don't overwhelm yourself. We have 2 new kits from Riley Blake. This first one is A Little Christmas. It makes a table runner that's 18 by 60. The fabric collection is Bev McCullough's Christmas collection. This is the Teresa Kogut Christmas collection. It's called Naughty or Nice. It uses this whole part right here as a panel. The green and the black are the borders. we talked about up on the rooftop, we do have the kits and backings in stock. I don't know how many more we have, but if you pre-ordered, this has shipped to you if your credit card went through. We have the layer cake crepe quilt kit, which it's a cute little pattern. You'll have to, we don't have a pop-up of it. And then I'm going to show you collections. Now there's a ton, so I don't know that I'm going to go through every single one like I usually do, but we'll see. This is Old World Yuletide by Fancy That Design House, Moda Fabrics. This is a half-yard bundle. We have the pre-cuts and all of the yardage in stock. And it's a really nice, there's just something about this one that's very vintage. I think the name is appropriate, Yuletide. Just really, really pretty. And then this is I would say a soft black. It's black, but this has a tint of brown to it. I always try to describe the fabrics if I can. And you know what? I think this is just a fun part of the video because you get to just look at pretty fabric. Who doesn't want to do that for a living, right? Have like the perfect job. Tiny Christmas by Lizzie House, and we showed this one to you, I believe, last week in the half-yard bundle, but now we have the pre-cuts. This one's really cute. It's Lizzie House, Moda Fabrics. We have all of the yardage in stock, a really cool mint color. And then these are her pearl bracelet prints that are really popular. And she's gonna have some 108s in that also. Little postage stamps. This one's really pretty. Lizzie House, Moda Fabrics. A Very Sweet Christmas. These were the 3 kits that we started off with. Now I can tell you this collection is already starting to sell out. This is A Very Sweet Christmas by Bunny Hill Designs. We have all of it in stock. Some of the kits have not been cut yet, or have not, I think there's like a kit or 2 that we haven't received yet. So I've shown you the ones that we have so far. But this is really, really popular. This one has done really well. And we have, you know, everything in stock except I think 1 kit. To me, this could be non-Christmas if you wanted it to be. You know, if you wanted to take the penguins out and the candy canes out, it could be a non-Christmas group. To me, just the penguins and if you took this one out and this one out, it could be non-Christmas. Frivolity by Sweetfire Road. This is a newer designer to Moda. This is probably her 5th collection. It's definitely cream based, and it's got, this one has kind of a gardening floral look to it. Teacups, mushrooms. And so this one is by Moda, and we have everything in stock on this one. I really like the polka dots. I think those would be a good basic. I guess one of the questions that I got earlier is what trend would I like to come back? I would love to see more small scale polka dots. That's a good answer. This is First Blooms by Heather Peterson for Riley Blake Designs. And this is, Heather Peterson, she always does a Christmas collection and a fall collection and a summer collection. I'm like 99% sure I'm right on that. So this is her fall collection. It is called First Blooms. Butterflies, florals, stripes, checks. Really fun colors. groups like this are fun because when you get the quilt done, you know, you really get a lot of colors. That's what I love about Lori's fabrics is there's so many colors in there. And then these are all really good. All of these, I love these too. First Blooms. This is also a fall collection by Riley Blake. This is called Happy Fall Days. Kelsey Carlson. Really, really pretty colors. And this year fall definitely had a trender to more of a burnt orange rather than a lighter orange. Cute little acorns. This one's really cute. It's like an all over print with like, looks like little cross stitches. Mistletoe and Holly by Bev McCullough. This was the kit that we showed you at the very beginning. This is what the fabric is made of. And this is Bev McCullough's Christmas collection, Mistletoe and Holly. This one's really, really cute. It's got reindeer, a little house, boots. It's really cute. And I think this one's 21 pieces. Something like this, you know, when you're thinking about it, you could cut it square or you could cut it on the bias and you could get two total different looks. This one's really pretty. Mistletoe and Holly, Bev McCullough, Riley Blake Designs. This is Sandy Gervais, The Awe of Autumn. Now she also, for Riley Blake, also does she does most holidays. And this one's, I would say this one has more dark backgrounds than normal, but she's adding purple into her fabrics. And I think that's new. Lots of fall motifs, you know, the pumpkins, flowers, sunflowers. And you also have seen a lot of dark brown for this year's fall. Now this new one, this was our sales rep's idea. Thank you to Bob Adams. This is Morris and Company. We got a lot of people emailing customer service, and we have a little document you can fill out for stuff you want to see. And we kept getting comments for Morris and Company. So these, our sales rep talked to Free Spirit and asked what their top 25 selling Morris prints are, and that's what we're starting with. And if it sells well in the future, we can buy more of their stuff. In the past, we haven't offered it just because it hasn't sold well, so we'll see how this one does. And with this one, we cut half yards, fat quarters, and we have yardage. And these, all of these SKUs were just the top selling prints from Free Spirit. And I want to show you kind of like, it's got a good range of colors. And we cut these in-house. Eclectic Elements is Tim Holtz. And each year he comes out with some random prints. So these are the Halloween prints this year. There's 5. We made a half yard bundle and we have yardage. Tim Holtz is one of the designers that we keep in stock until it completely sells out. And he had a Christmas collection a couple years ago and it stayed in print for a couple years. This is his Christmas seasonal Eclectic Elements, and it's also 5 prints. I think this is the first time I've seen people in fabric. So we have this in half yard bundles and yardage. This is Christmas Cabin by Mia Charo for Free Spirit Fabrics. Really cute. I want to show the detail of it. I was looking at this earlier. It just has a lot of detail to it. I think this would make cute little dresses. Ugh. So these are the prints. Christmas Cabin, Mia Charo for Free Spirit. I'm going to show you the panel. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so at the top, there's a pretty big border up there. And then it's a tree with an owl. I think I saw an owl yesterday when I was driving. I saw an owl in the air. I was so excited. Corey Dantini for Free Spirit 12 Days of Christmas. So it's a smaller collection. It's very folk art-y. And this one has two different panels with it. It's the 12 Days of Christmas song. This one's 23 inches. Partridge in a Pear Tree. And then this one is also 23 inches. And each panel has 12, and they're the different songs, the 12 different songs. Tim Holtz had this new series. They're called Eclectic Elements Palettes. And as a store, you had to buy into the entire program. So there's 10 SKUs each month, so 120 SKUs. You had to buy all 120 SKUs to be able to offer this. We have most of the colors, and all of the colors from the past we have in stock. We're keeping those in stock, but this is the blue. We've shown a lot of the colors. These are selling really well. We have these as half yards, fat quarters, and yardage. We have two collections by Figo Fabrics. This is Fossil Folks by Jillian Phillips, and they're little dinosaurs. Roar, bones, really, this is really cute. I think that would make a cute pillowcase. And then this is Snowfall by Pippa Shaw. And some of the prints have metallic. So the little silver right there is metallic. So like all that silver is metallic. So this one we cut fat quarters and we have yardage. This one's going to be really popular. This is Away in a Manger by Satin Moon Designs for Blank Quilting. It's very small collection in terms of very few prints. We did buy a lot of it expecting it to sell really good. This is a border stripe. So cute. And then the panel. This is a 1 yard panel. So it's the manger. That's that. Oh yeah, let me open it. It's so cute. Yeah, I love it.
Reminds me of like the Fisher Price.
Oh yes, the little people from Fisher Price. Oh my gosh, I love the little people. My kids used to hit each other in the head with those. This is Blank Quilting. There is a company called Stoff Fabrics. It is an international company. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where it's from, but it's made in it's manufactured, and the whole company is based in a different country, and Blank Quilting is bringing that in. So this is Stoff Fabrics. This is metallic. This one I think is all metallic. And we haven't carried their fabrics much, so we will see how well this does. They always have Christmas, and they always have like a red, green, and gold, and then blue and silver. Falling Leaves by Jason Yenter. The yardage will be online later today. This is a running stripe. This is Jason Yenter for In the Beginning. So just really pretty fall. You can just see those colors. They're just beautiful. His prints almost to me look batik-y, but they're not. But they always have that look. He's a really cool artist. Really, really nice guy. This one's really pretty. So the half yard bundle is online, and the yardage will be online later today. Make Hour is a company out of the UK, and it's called Make Hour UK. This is their Jolly Saint Nick collection. Each year they do, their prints are they're known for their really, really small prints, and we are very selective of what we buy from them, but when we buy stuff, it does really well. And I think it's because most of the other prints we get, they're just so big, and these are just really cute, small Christmas prints. So if you're looking for like a small scale Christmas, and some of these have metallic and some of them do not. I would say a majority of them have a light metallic. Primo plaids, I have been waiting for Marcus Brothers to come out with more. These have always sold really well because it is a low price flannel. So you can get it, it's just a lower price. And they always have great colors. So these are their new colors. They're called Cool Blue, and we made these in fat quarter bundles and yardage. This is Sweet Cherry by Anne Rowan and Wilmington Prints. This one's really cool. It's like all based on cherry pie. And just showing you this is all what we've got in the last 2 weeks. If you could just imagine how many fabric collections we don't buy versus what we do buy. So it's just amazing that we're able to offer all of this. I think this one would make a cute little casserole holder. And then the panel is, it's a placemat panel. So basically it's meant for you to be able to make 4 placemats. And then, obviously you'd put backing on it. This is Woodland Snowmen by Daniel Leon for Wilmington Prints. Oh my gosh, so much fabric. It makes me just want to go make stuff. These are like cute little, this is really cute. Very woodland. Lots of animals, snowmen. Wilmington always has border stripes. And then after this, it's going to be all notions. So, so sad, the last fabric. And then this is the panel. And I did want to mention Gudrun GE Designs and Doug Lico are coming out with a book that is all about panels and how to make panels into quilts. And so we have that on our coming soon page today, and that will be exciting because a lot of people have asked for that. This is a new item. We've never had gift bags like this. I love it. Look at this. You could put all your Christmas gifts in it. They're so cute. I don't know how many of these we have, but I'm taking these right here. I'm going to buy these. This is called the Most Wonderful Time gift bag. And it comes, you get all three. And it's designed by Fancy That Design House. And they're fabric. Okay, this is matching to this Old World U-Tide set of 3 towels. So there's bags and then there's towels.
It shows a picture on the back of all 3 of them, I think.
Oh yeah, that's better. And then there's a new coin bag called Sand and Sea coin bag. It doesn't say Camille Ross Kelly on it, but I think it is. And then we have some new charms. There's Paper Hamlet by Kathy Holden, and she has some fabric coming out that matches this. Zipper Pulls by Sarah Watts. They're called 3 Hello Alice Zipper Pulls. This one is called set of 2 sailboat and sewing machine zipper pulls. I love the sewing machine. It's so cute. These are by Camille. These are by Sarah. We have some new enamel charms by Minky Kim. Pink teapot, pink teacups, bicycle, and scooter. And her, if you're looking for quilt labels or quilt tags, she has the cutest stuff. We have one new book. It's called Storybook Quilts. I'll flip through it. The designer is Laura Pilland. And there is a summary of the book. And then we have McCall's Quilting Summer and Fall Collection. Both of those issues. Okay, now I'm going to look at comments and see if there are any more comments or any questions that I need to answer. There aren't. Okay. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this Q&A. I did try to answer as many questions as I could. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.